What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my top 50 players of all time list. And before I can get into that list, I need to give you guys some criteria and basic standards I have when ranking a player on my top 50 all time. So first, we have statistical greatness, and stats can lie, but they do tell a huge story of how impactful a player was to winning and just how good they were in general. Second, we have skill and ability, and this is relative to their era. I think it's pretty self-explanatory how skill and ability is. And third, we have playoff dominance. This includes championships, iconic moments in the playoffs, how many times you made the playoffs, how many times you missed, and just takes everything in the postseason into account when ranking a player. Fourth, we have context of the NBA. I touched on this in past videos. How many teams were in the NBA in the 60s, the integration of the ABA in the 70s, and just things in general that happened in different eras. They're all taken into account in my list. And lastly, it's a personal preference. I prefer a player's peak over longevity. And we're talking about a peak, it's not just 1 year. I'm not basing it off 1 year. It's more like a 5-year window when you're at your absolute best. I value that more than like a 15-year longevity streak. That's just my personal opinion. So let's hop into the list now. At number 50, we have Dominic Wilkins, the Human Highlight film. And Dominic was a great player in his time. He was a 9-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA player. And at his absolute peak, he was able to lead the NBA in scoring at around 30 points per game. He went head-to-head against Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics multiple times in the playoffs. He was never able to overcome them, but Dominic was a really, really great basketball player, and you shouldn't just know Dominic for his flashy dunks, even those are super exciting. He was a really great basketball player. At number 49, we have George Gervin. He was a 4-time scoring champ in the early 80s with the San Antonio Spurs. Similar to Dominic, he didn't have much team success, but he was a great individual player and one of the best scorers the NBA has ever seen. At number 48, we have Bob Pettit. Bob Pettit was a center for the St. Louis Hawks. He was a 2-time MVP, a 2-time scoring champion, and he did take down Bill Russell and the mighty Celtics, winning a championship in 1958. At number 47, we have Ray Allen, a 10-time All-Star and 2-time NBA champion, the second greatest shooter of all time in my opinion, and he hit the most clutch shot in NBA Finals history in 2013 Game 6 versus San Antonio Spurs. At number 47, we have one of the pioneers of basketball, and George Mikan. He was a 4-time champion and a 3-time scoring champ. And if you've played basketball, you know the Mikan drill, and George Mikan did invent that. And we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have the contributions of George Mikan. At number 45, we have another pioneer of basketball, and Bob Cousy. He really invented the behind-the-back dribble, the crossover, and the behind-the-back layup, and he has a really impressive resume to go along with his skill. He was a 1-time MVP, 13-time All-Star, 8-time assist champ, and a 6-time NBA champion, all with the Boston Celtics. At number 44, we have Chris Paul, and number 43, we have Jason Kidd. Both these players' resumes are very similar. They both made 9-time All-Defensive teams. They both made numerous All-NBA teams. They led the NBA in assists 4+ times. But I give the edge to Jason Kidd because he was able to make the finals with the New Jersey Nets, and Chris Paul has yet to make the finals. Jason Kidd also won a championship as an older veteran with the Dallas Mavericks, but he still was a key piece, no doubt. At number 42, we have the glove, Gary Payton. And Gary Payton was a 9-time All-Defensive and All-NBA player. He won 1 Defensive Player of the Year in 1996. The same year he led the Seattle Supersonics to the NBA Finals. And Gary Payton was a really underrated scorer. He has numerous seasons over 20 points per game, and he is arguably the greatest perimeter defender of all time. As I was going over the list and doing my editing, I noticed I left off Paul Pierce, and originally he was going to be at the 41 spot, in between Gary Payton and Russell Westbrook, so just keep that in mind. 41, we have one of the most polarizing players in the NBA today in Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has averaged a triple-double each of the last 3 seasons. He made the NBA Finals at the age of 23, and he's looking to get back there this season with James Harden and the Houston Rockets. Number 40, we have James Worthy, and unlike Russell Westbrook, James Worthy is not a triple-double machine. In fact, he only had 1 his whole career, but it did come in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, where he scored 36 points, had 16 rebounds, and 10 assists, and he would win Finals MVP that series, giving his resume a definite boost on this top 50 all-time list. At number 39, we have Bill Walton. And Walton's career was really up and down. In the beginning of his career, it looked like he was destined to be a top 25 player all time, as he won a Finals MVP, an MVP, 2 All-Defensive teams, and 2 All-NBA teams, all within a 3-year span. But after serious leg injuries, Walton would have to battle his way back and prove he was an NBA caliber player, and he would do that with the Boston Celtics, being a key contributor off the bench as he won 6th Man of the Year and helped them win a championship in 1986. At number 38, we have another Boston Celtic in Kevin Mchale, who would also win 6 Man of the Year awards like Bill Walton. And Kevin Mchale was basically a 20-10 guy in his prime, and the second option for the Boston Celtics. Charles Barkley is stated as saying Kevin Mchale was the toughest post player he ever had to guard, which is really high praise. So again, I have another mistake, and I noticed I left off Dave Cowens, and Dave Cowens, he would go after Kevin Mchale on my list, so just keep that in mind when you're evaluating my list. At number 37, we have Patrick Ewing, and whenever you bring up Patrick Ewing, there's always a glaring mark that he does not have a championship. But I mean, even without that, Patrick Ewing has a great career. His best season statistically was 28-11. In my opinion, his best season overall was 1994, when he averaged 25-11, and led the New York Knicks to an NBA Finals berth, where they almost beat the Houston Rockets, taking them 7 games. At number 36, we have Clyde the Glide Drexler, and Clyde would lead the Portland Trailblazers to 2 NBA Finals appearances, averaging around 27 points per game both of those seasons. And later in Clyde's career, he would actually win a championship as a member of a Houston Rockets team, where he would average around 21 points per game as a solid second option for Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 35, we have the greatest New York Knick of all time in Willis Reed, and he's a 2-time NBA champion and 2-time Finals MVP. And you may know him as the guy who came out of the tunnel before a game and basically played on a broken leg versus the Lakers in the NBA Finals. And that was just a really inspiring moment, and it's one of the most iconic moments in NBA history. And Reed also has an MVP to his name. At number 34, we have Elgin Baylor, and Baylor is mostly known as the guy who lost 9 NBA Finals, but I know him as one of the greatest scorers of all time. He has the 7th highest playoff points per game average, and he has the 2nd highest playoff scoring game at 61 points. And he really was a great individual player, but as many players, the team accomplishments hold them back from being higher on my all-time list. Number 33, we have Rick Barry, who has the infamous granny shot that helped him shoot over 90% from the line 7 times. And Barry's best season came in 1974-75, where he averaged 30 points per game along with 3 steals, and led the Warriors to an NBA championship, and Barry would win Finals MVP that very same season. And he does have the highest Finals points per game average out of anyone in NBA history. Number 32, we have Steve Nash, a 2-time MVP with the Phoenix Suns, whether you like it or not. And Steve Nash really did revolutionize the point guard role, and when he had joined the Phoenix Suns, he instantly added about 30 wins to their total, and he's one of the most valuable players of the 2000s, and many people don't know that. And Steve Nash is one of 2 players to ever average a 50-40-90 season multiple times, the other player being Larry Bird. At number 31, we have John Stockton. Stockton is one of the most durable players of all time. He was able to play 82 games 17 times throughout his career. He's the all-time leader in assists and steals, and he's a part of one of the greatest duos in NBA history with him and Karl Malone. He was also able to average over 10 assists per game 10 times throughout his career, and led the NBA in assists 9 times, with his highest assist per game average being 14.5. At number 30, we have the answer Allen Iverson. It was one of the most iconic moves in NBA history with his patented crossover, and he has one of the greatest playoff runs in NBA history too, where he averaged 33 points per game in 2001, and led the 76ers to an NBA Finals berth, where he did beat the Los Angeles Lakers, handing in their only loss of the 2001 postseason, where he scored 48 points. At number 29, we have James Harden. And James Harden being at 29, I thought he'd be a lot lower, but after evaluating my list, I have James Harden at 29. I mean, his skill is off the charts, and he's basically unstoppable when it comes to his moves getting to the basket and shooting 3-pointers. I mean, James Harden is a really, really great basketball player, and he could easily move up higher on this list if he wins a championship. Number 27, we have Scottie Pippen, one of the most versatile offensive and defensive players in NBA history, and arguably the greatest small forward defender of all time. Pippen was a 6-time NBA champion with the Chicago Bulls and played Robin to MJ's Batman from 1988 to 1998. At number 26, we have John Havlicek, a 13-time All-Star, 8-time NBA champion, 1-time Finals MVP, and 11-time All-NBA player with the Boston Celtics. He's also an 8-time All-Defensive player, and he's one of the greatest two-way players of all time. So I know this video is going kind of long, and 50 players is a lot of players, so I'm just going to kind of speed through 25 to 15 right now. At 25, I have Charles Barkley. 24, I have Kawhi Leonard. 23, I have Oscar Robertson. 22, I have Jerry West. 21, I have David Robinson. 20, I have Isaiah Thomas. 19, I have Dwayne Wade. 18, I have Kevin Garnett. 17, I have Karl Malone. 16, I have Dirk Nowitzki. And 15, I have Dr. J. So these next 3 players are kind of on their own tier. They're not good enough, in my opinion, to be in the top 11, but they're not quote-unquote bad enough to be behind top 15, and I have Steph Curry at 14, Kevin Durant at 13, and Moses Malone at number 12. And Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, I'm just going to tell you straight up, those are basically interchangeable depending on how you feel and what you value. But I am sticking firm with Moses Malone at number 12. He's a 3-time MVP, a Finals MVP, 8-time All-NBA player, 6-time rebound champ, and a 13-time All-Star. And if you really dig and do your research, you'll realize Moses was the best center of the early to mid-'80s, and he did dominate Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the playoffs, and he was better than Hakeem Olajuwon at the time. I'm sure many of you are familiar with my top 11. At number 11, I have Wilt Chamberlain. At number 10, I have Bill Russell. At number 9, I have Shaquille O'Neal. At number 8, I have Hakeem Olajuwon. At number 7, I have Tim Duncan. At number 6, I have Kobe Bryant. At number 5, I have Larry Bird. At number 4, I have Magic Johnson. At number 3, I have LeBron James. At number 2, I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And at number 1, I have the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So, I will explain it a little. Wilt Chamberlain, I will never put him over Bill Russell because Bill Russell understood what it took to win. Well, Wilt Chamberlain was basically obsessed with stats, and he didn't understand what it meant to win later with his Laker years when he took a reduced role. So, I did make some slight changes in my list. I did move Hakeem Olajuwon up a little. I moved Kobe Bryant ahead of Tim Duncan, and I've had Duncan ahead of Kobe for a while. But just looking at the skill, the eye test, I thought Kobe does deserve the slight edge over Duncan. Even though Duncan's legacy might be better than Kobe's, I think Kobe was just a flat-out better player than Duncan. That's not taking anything away from Tim Duncan because he was a great player in his own right. I just think Kobe was on a little higher level than Duncan. Now, my top 5, all the players remain the same. Bird, Magic, LeBron, Kareem, and MJ. But I did change it up a little. I put LeBron over Magic. The same reason I kind of put Kobe over Duncan. Magic may have a better legacy, but I think LeBron James is clearly a better basketball player. I just think, I know Magic Johnson's no slouch, the greatest point guard of all time, but I think LeBron does have a clear advantage over Magic on the defensive end, which gives him the edge. In my top 2, this kind of remains the same forever. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan, the greatest legacies in basketball. And the thing that puts MJ number 1 is the fact that he has 6 Finals MVPs, and he won Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP in the same season. And Michael Jordan, I could go on all of his accomplishments. You guys know how I feel about Jordan. I think he should be the undisputed GOAT, with him and Kareem basically at the top, and LeBron James kind of entering the conversation. But this is my top 50 all time. This list took a long time to make, and this video took even longer time to make. Right now I'm working at like 1:20 at night. This video is really long, took a lot of work and a lot of effort into it. And before you guys go, I'm going to show you my tier ranking list. I just wanted to break this down to kind of a tier or a GOAT pyramid, as I like to call it, to show you guys how close each of these players are. Now on my list, Larry Bird is about 4 or 5 spots ahead of Shaq. And does that mean Larry Bird is exponentially better than Shaquille O'Neal? No, that does not. That's why I like the tier ranking system, to show that all these players are kind of on the same level. There might be varying degrees of public opinion or how people feel, but I think we can all agree that those players in the tiers, they're there for a reason based on skill, overall resume, and just they're kind of all near each other in the debate, and it can swing both ways. And in summary, I put a lot of work into this video, and if you guys would show your appreciation, give a like, give a comment, let me see what you guys think I got wrong, what I got right. I know people will be heated at this list no matter what, and with the top 50 all time, you really can't win. It's a lose-lose situation because everyone has different opinions, and everyone's going to voice those opinions like they're right. Even if they're not valid opinions, everyone has an opinion. And I really did do my research for this list, and I hope you guys recognize that, and you guys take that into account when you comment, and just understand where I'm coming from with this list, and again, understand my criteria and how close these players are to each other. So that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching Uncut Hoops once again. I've been loving the support I've been seeing on this channel. The last video I had was about 30,000 views. That's absolutely great. The subscribers are going up, and I'm just glad to see you guys liking the content. And thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.